Benzara Sado Samaya Manobalaya Bedra Sado Denaba Tita Dindo Membava Sodagaya Subagaya Membava Anorado Membava Savasida Mebaya Zasavagama Sudame Zidam Shire Yangur Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarvatata Gadabenda Mamem Zabenza Masamaya Sado Ranjung Shichan book, page 8.
I want everybody to be comfortable. So Jack, you to come front. That's empty. And everybody has good seat. Yeah. Don't let empty seat here. Move.
Guru Bema Sede Lojizon Rovarajanji Labdozo Jalamdon Rovarajanjala Lamdrabaze Varajanjala Dozo Trabayejazo Jarva Page 12. Omniyadaya Senjenam Sambhada Loye Jeda Jedarava Chejo Demo Devai Chuje Kolo Kordoso
Cheme Pugayare, Cheme Peg Jimson Kare. Daso Rodu Simchen Tam, Chiji Mari Nizinki Mumbati, Selni Shishi Nawa Jabar Shows, and Manam Tindatamne, Cheme Puvayena, Cheme Gangchi Puvatella, Sonam Sanji Meshavayavata, Teletene Tayebe, Simchen Tamsiki, Semti Shila, Doni Ninji, Jewe, Genchigare, Carson, Malam la Nibayare, Malam la Nibayare. Malam tapa jusong la jusing juj tangar ju chembe ki ju ten tel malam ki jetam na jusong ta malam tapa tel tin debo yare ten de lo me base ten de lo me.
You've offered a lamp. There's a great purpose in offering a lamp, a light. Because when we do so with the thought, the aspiration, may the darkness of ignorance in the mind of all sentient beings be cleared away, and may the light of wisdom shine in the mind of all beings. And with that thought, offering a single lamp brings inconceivable merit. We gain inconceivable merit by making an offering with that attitude. And we also make the aspiration and the prayer that all beings may come to recognize their own basic nature, this unity of emptiness and compassion. And it becomes actually, this offering of a lamp becomes a condition or a circumstance that all beings may come to that recognition. Because prayers are powerful. Aspirations and prayers have power. And in fact, when we make an aspiration together with offering something like a lamp here, the lamp is the cause. Our aspiration, our prayer is a condition. And when those things come together, there is unfailingly going to be some result from that. Because karmic causality is unfailing. Causes bring about effects.
Sanjebeke chula dordona tapchi chatan sharapchi chatni yore tapchi chaki nyam danda chumipia chakseya chumipia chansalwatan chansalwatan chuchi shakba jesu yela dumba nyamlente ning tapa ne yela dumbi nyamle ngaraso kandu gejo kari chebayena tingala yela dumbi den지 가슴 쓰좀 ning tapa ne wane chane ning rubi tenne chasalwatan ning rubi tenne ngosu joro chobata yi choba 차야 무슨 처럼 이지차 대신도 아르체기 샥 제발라 농주 샥바 되네 현지 개와 제발라 현지 개와 제발라 제수여라한테 손남 30 매셔봐요 현지 개와 제발라 탁도 제발라 득바 30 매셔봐요 현지 개와 제발라 인코 르베 땡 제수여랑 저나 개와 찍부터 봐요 가라서는 최탐진 눈바른 눈빛잘라라 전나 탐지 쟁이든 눈빛잘라 rap돌네 산지소 눈바디 가르쳐버려 최바 표야 뺀다 최면 멈춰만 버프 제 잡바탕 떼봐 암 최소 선한 표를 치르들 표바이나 딘테 더블게 최바다 장만 버려 유다만 버 로소만 땅거래데 편바드시라요 말 최면 깡찍마도 내내 인공 루베된 타입의 심장 탐지기 마르키 문바티 셀니 이시지 나와 여버셔 닝 탁반에 다르지 랍종의 맥주 루지 밥을 연이 춤에 깡주도 스페는 사람 처음에는 사비때 받삼지 매잡하다 선남 삼지 매잡하다 라시 심장 탐지기 줄에 잠다 닝저 돈이도 버셔 필백이 쩐쳐 쩐센데 내가 바로 대소상아도 소사 대장길에 가리 잡아야나 제술때 가르쳐버려 로손 첨버지 땅 대리 사람 첨버지 사그래 삼나 대 논주래 Drokson San Bebe Tone, Sonam Sabi Measure Sire. Drokson Sabi Measure Batane, Sonam Yashira, Mebatide, Yogur. Tesson Zamaducho, Kasani Shubari, Church, Jell, and Chisul, the Karchambari, Shubari. So Kulong number Tako, that under Pen Anela Shin Chache, Metin, Chambers Puson. Thing is somebody else, oh, that did. Chun Yamlet, Chimachi, Chen would do something. That Chisul, oh, that didn't it. Send some thing is Charansola, the next to the party schooner, Majugangal Pengrova.
When we practice the Buddha Dharma, we have to combine the aspect of method and the aspect of wisdom. These two always have to come together. And when it comes to the methods, there are many different methods. Methods like offering a lamp, methods like making prostrations, like making offerings, like confession, like rejoicing, each of the 7 branches of the 7-branch practice. When we do these practices genuinely in a heartfelt and sincere way, it brings about real benefit. And this is why we do this at the beginning of any type of recitation practice that we do, or at the beginning of any type of teaching session. We begin with the 7-branch practice. And it's important that when we do this, we don't just recite the words, but we actually bring to mind the meaning of those words and take to heart very genuinely and sincerely what we are saying. So in a heartfelt way, we make prostrations. In a heartfelt way, we make offerings. Offerings can be either actual, physically present offerings, but also mental offerings, mentally created offerings, offerings that we bring to mind. And when we do prostrations, also there can be both of these. We could actually do a prostration, but we can also imagine, bring to mind the idea of doing prostrations. And so in addition to this, we make confession. We confess all of our mistakes, all of the negative things that we have done, knowing that we have done wrong. And then we rejoice. We rejoice in the merit that has been accumulated by others. And this is very important, actually, to rejoice when others have done something virtuous. The merit that comes from that kind of rejoicing is actually inconceivable. Likewise, if someone does something meritorious and we feel jealous about that, the negativity of that jealous is quite inconceivable as well. So it's very important that we rejoice when people do something that is of great benefit. And in fact, it is said that if someone does something virtuous and we rejoice in that, that through our rejoicing, we receive equal merit to the act that that person themselves has done. And that's because our intention is what's most important. All of the Dharma comes down to intention. The Buddha himself said this, actually, that our Dharma practice really comes down to intention and relies upon our intention. So if somebody offers 100,000 butter lamps, but doesn't do so with the positive aspiration of wanting to bring beings to the state of awakening, compared to that, offering one single lamp with a genuine, heartfelt feeling and aspiration, may the darkness of ignorance in the mind of all sentient beings be dispelled. May the light of wisdom arise and flourish and shine in the mind of every single sentient being. That is so much more powerful, to make that one lamp offering in such a way with very intense feeling, really in a heartfelt way, such that maybe we have tears in our eyes, the hairs on our bodies stand on end, and we really sincerely make the prayer and the aspiration for this to happen, and together with that make the offering. That we make this aspiration also in the prayer that all of the negative deeds we have accumulated in samsara since beginningless time, that all of those negative deeds are completely purified. The merit that comes from a single offering of a single lamp made with that kind of aspiration is truly inconceivable. It becomes a condition for love and compassion and wisdom to arise in one's own mind and in the minds of others. So when we gather the accumulations of merit and wisdom, and when we purify obscurations, we have to know how to do it correctly. The way that we do these practices is important. if we have the idea that if I offer a lot of really expensive things, I'm going to get a lot of merit, that's a mistake. We didn't understand correctly what is meant by gaining merit. It's not about offering a lot of expensive things. Actually, it's possible to, without spending a single cent, gain a tremendous amount of merit, an inconceivable amount of merit, because if we know actually what is meant by making merit and making offerings in this way. It's also possible to spend an inconceivable amount of money and not make any merit out of that, right? So really, we have to know how to practice correctly. I said to you before, more than practicing, it's important to know how to practice, right? We have to know how to practice correctly. And so just now, Anila stood up and she prostrated. And she held this lamp in front of her, and she brought it to me and she offered it. And I thought, when I saw that, I thought, that's someone practicing the Dharma genuinely and correctly. And I thought then, it made me think about this and how important it is to practice the Dharma in a genuine and a correct way. And I thought I should share that with all of you, because it's something that can be of benefit for each of us to hear these things.
These days, mundanely, decoration is popular, important, people love it. But then dharmic objects are becoming decoration. That is very sad and cheap. Dharmic things are not for decoration. It has tremendous deep meaning, profound meaning and effect. So we need to know the value. And in Buddhist way of practice is, if you have a lot, if you're stingy, wrong. If you have nothing, no need 1 penny. This is the beauty. If you have a lot, if not offer, not give, wrong, stingy. If you have nothing, not need to force, not need to feel bad. I mentioned recently, not here, okay. When Tathagata traveling, and a poor guy visit to Tathagata, means Buddha Shakyamuni. And that beggar says, "Oh Buddha, what wrong I am? I'm so poor. I have no place to stay. Even the daily food for me difficult. What wrong me, Buddha? What wrong me?" Then Buddha says, "Because past lives you are very stingy, and you not give, not share." Then this person says, "Yeah, but then I have nothing now. Now I have nothing to give. What I can do?" Buddha says, "No, you have a lot of things to give." Then this says, "How? I have nothing. I'm so poor." Listen. Look to others. Very kind eye, a great gift. Smile with love, genuine love, a great gift. Say words, respect and helpful things, third gift. Fourth, physically, whatever you can, do some helpful. You have 4 unbelievable, priceless gift. You have priceless gift within you always. So he's so happy, and he did that, and after he gained high realization through that connection. That. So, also you all know the famous story of King Ashoka and his helpers. They're about a child, past lives. They're playing and Buddha traveling. Then they're talking each other. What do we do? People says, "Good to offer to Buddha." And people are offering a lot. We like to offer. What do we offer? They says, "We have nothing." But never mind. They says, "Whatever offer Buddha accept." So we offer sand. They're playing in sand. So Buddha knows. He came near to them. So then they took sand. And the one is lie down, one is up, offered to Buddha. Buddha smiled and very happily took the sand. So become one is Ashok. One King Ashok. One is his helper. Look, think, just sand. Offer to whom? The perfect one. What do you offer? Not perfect. But motivation is perfect. Because motivating perfect, what offer sent become perfect offering. So result how? So that is all of us. We really need to be aware and don't court for fame or name or show. So bottom heart need to apply the teaching. So Rangjung Institute, and in the world there's many other Buddhist universities. They're good. There's academic system going well. And what different? Different is here, Tibetan Shed system is, I think modern academic system, modern. You can criticize anyone, anytime. So this is it. So monastery Shedda is real academic. I talk to few professors, they agree with me, Western professors. Top of that, it combined with a practice. Praying, meditation, and telling how important motivation and dedicating. So each session is a great practice. Chö chenyin ki gewa ti gewa tamchin ti nane ki gewa cheshu jiri chö chenyin chibi gewa tawas tindas okore that chö chenyin chibi gewa tawas ngne okore da ngazo de chö chenyin chibi gewa ti gewa samchi me chabay jiri re da tinsu tinsu ganga kalchimbo shadare sanchi sube ki chö ganga kalchimbo re 마다 댕상 그 뒤에서 따와 착신 적신 카당 미리 착신 적신 생지 마도 신 렌데게 남샤 년중 그거 참 년지 그거 뭐그 당장 그거 산데 튼데 매게 러메 튼데 매게 라메 셰 메페바 셰 메페바 메닥 봐서 셰 메페바 그래서는 저마 최선을 그런 칭이 차상하지 좀 차상하지 원도 무시 제서 그런 차상하지요 잡아봐 가나 차상 그래 추면은 커피 통에 매래 커피 위에는 추면은 커피 요만 제날에 락쇼 커피를 차도 추님 좀 니 좀나 평만 넣어주고 너 장만 좀내면 내가 말을 들었으니까 록 주고 록 잡으면 좀 말해 teleyang to go parking to go. Parking to me, take a cat, maybe musical. Titungo, Ganga Chango. If there's more people, I feel more relaxed. This is something wrong with me here. People says if there's more people, feel uneasy. For me, more people very joy. And become more sharp. More sharp, more relaxed. More fun.
The virtue that comes about through teaching and listening to the Dharma is really a tremendous virtue, and it's extremely important, actually, the virtue that comes from that, from teaching the Dharma and receiving Dharma teachings. And that's why it's essential that we dedicate the merit, the virtue that has come out of these situations, teaching situations. Actually, we should bring to mind all of the roots of virtue that have been accumulated through teaching the Dharma and receiving the Dharma teachings, and then we dedicate that to the benefit of beings. This is very important. Actually, everything that the Buddha taught is very important. Every single teaching that the Buddha gave is essential. And, these days, though, a lot of people are so just into the view. They're really all about Dzogchen, Mahamudra, their mouth hanging open, eyes bugging out, and not so interested in karmic cause and effects. They don't want to really hear so much about renunciation. They're not interested in impermanence, love, compassion. They don't want to hear about devotion. They're not interested in listening about pure perception. The students don't want to hear that, and then the teachers don't dare to talk about it. If the teacher doesn't dare to talk about impermanence, then what is that? I mean, the Dharma is itself a full and complete thing, and all of the aspects have to be there. It has to be like that, right? We need the preliminary part, we need the main part, and we need the conclusion. All aspects are essential. The Dharma has to be like that, and it is like that. It's like that with anything. If you want to drink a cup of tea, coffee, maybe that's easier. Coffee, to drink a cup of coffee, you need just coffee and water. Pretty straightforward, right? But actually, no, also you need coffee, you need water, then you also need some kind of heat, but then you need some way of igniting that, right? And then not just that, you need also a cup. We need a cup, right? Then you don't need somebody who has a mouth and eyes to be able to drink it. All of those things have to come together, or else you can't have a cup of coffee.
Kesul somji jardin somji gendi juga chwaji meche tebe kala chanchu partu takranyen ome chuji je parane tusum sanje kunju ngo ransum chukung sum ta zavela me shavla solo ande gonjo topo pore chinchilo zeden cheche chero wasirchi dalu temu mumbarapsan Kadang tenju shunlo toba ye lo doba ben nawa zaldo so kanse tawaran doba chusin driven done gombon jayen chwenye kemme parang thongora sho namol haye ke ta ludon de ke chumbam tha da me ke no rowa kunje da ke chisam pa thamche ke to da ke chwe ten to che dharma jugba mandawa chulin jugoyo dordo na chene sheja sa 건데 람숨 주도be 초탐지 시자인 말이 대나네 소들 너르드나 나스 셈지 촌로 나스 셈지 촌로 랑고샤버 치질로 소할 나스 세비 초탐지 셈 촌로래 대랑고 셴고 아라르 코숨 론도라 템바토버 치질로 소 랑리비 이시 그거라 라 되네 코숨 대랑체 수여버리 대 템바토버 치질로 소할 ताते ठं खालबो चंबारे रे ते ngaरासो दुर्चा ला लो मांडा बायोरे लो रामटिंग थासम योरे लो तेस 증보 तेस लो शिबो तेस 대외정 사람 나와 아주 로아미기 감다 마바 타제 요바래 텐델 때네 원장 년람 이민 치체지 특징 초도 박사 라라 택받침에 쳐려져 년주지 택받에 샘을 봐봐요. 그래서 봐봐요는 년주 쳐도 냠슬라나 대약이요. 가르쳐 샘을 봐봐를 때는 이시제 할 때는 냠슬 라와를 때는 다좀be 컴바토 그래. 다좀be 컴바토는 지라 가르쳐 버려. 라라 상악 쳐려장 택ချင်း쳐려. 대 샘을 편도 책이요. 동이 니지 실라샤베 거네 파르친투 대가 라서바 자스처스 비케바 조슬트 셈리 쇼고요. 대기나 상각이 최래 가사 딜라 택신 최도 sab고요. 다 sab스인데 그래. sab고요. 약어요. 팩어요. 딘디요. 다 라라 상각 최대 셈리 쇼 셈리 팽겨요. 대양 캐서버줄라 산제 최대 야가파비 윤네 다 현발에 리주 가사칼라 다르래 때 년도기 택바다 택생기 택바다 유도 망벌 타바래 상하게 택바대야 자주도 주주 다르마다 자주 난저라나베 유티 그 간제 좀 코나라마다 맞아봤다고 진짜 진짜지 중요해 버려 다티 가리나 좀자 가리나 다시 당거려 대 다르에 다른에 왕롱치 맹아트 제바 별이네 냠솔라네 대 배면 망보 줘봤다봐 잡아 안에 낙바 짬 맞춰봐 저 팔바 나는 채줄이 되바지 보지 고마자 리다세 다 틀려가지고 되바치 보지 그래 고마다 잡아줘 리다만 보세 다 들으지 전시 여주 탐솜세 여주 탐솜치네 채줄이 되바만 보지 안 잡아치 보지 다 별라 라마 상보여 버렸다 매 파르스만 라마 원한테 케바거는 케바요르 줌바거는 줌바요르 조바거는 조바요르 잠메리 나라카칼라 사하야고요 사하거는 잠미 망보 가와도 저런도 사하 잠미 삼마야고요 별라 된 최대 된댔어요 라마 야고요 소자 미하고요 라마 야고도 수이 수수 케바 제거 없나 라마 케바 잘도요 다 수송원에 단지 실루진 냠래 샤마치 저거 섬 달라마 오늘 단지 두번 냠래 지 라마치 다 건지 세겨 텔라 까와 첨버잖아 세요 때문에 벌써 가와 있는 세 대야 백거라 준주 첨버 그건 도나 첨버 건 저번 제 맞잖아 잡더니 제 저거서 암자단 직사다 제버 건에 세기를 세는 라마체 라마 체된 제가 값을 때 라마 내수간 것슈 마치 데레 차사 슈 때 라마야 밑에 오늘 단에 줘봐도에 줘심 잡아도에 간도도 라마야 로마를 딱 때네 라마 체된 로마 내된 티 당마 나네 냠솔라니 줘봐도 괜찮아 봐 정말 데라 치지요래 덱chen chöchi 돌장 최배 메틀 아주 빼서 만보다 잠인제 민중 조세 걸 삼로 마다나 아주 최대 쇼버리 최대 빼서 만보다 중상 만보를 장 릭바 만보다 릭바 만보체 가샤 만보체 되네요 나자르체 나를 캐스메 롱드릭바 나 추보이 롱드릭바 롱칸데지 나 롱만보 로도 릭바 칸데 땅에 땅토요 강가 거셔니 년투다 랑자다 강하마 콘저트 테메레 랑 년투 랑저게 따와 마도 마 거사테 년투 랑저 걸 따고 따와 곰바 줘반 제버디 줘발 걸바체 소소 년투 베타베 게 따와 요는 담에 따고 셔 가사가 다참 마도 칸에 셔 장반 마도 근데 요는데 되네야 철에 때는 딕삭스 너는 아저지 차도지 렌심지 근데 요거요 근데 선사 대다긴 탄다 셔반나시 덱chen 추지 툴장 농주 치보여 당한테 받침 받쳐서 당한 신데다 년손 솜 냐로하다 이 냐로 르전 제탁주의 상 변면서 렌델 이치요 렌델 이치 자자자요 근데 선사 때 컨트 선배 남plan 직다 삼지면서 봐요 근데 여러 때 선사 최대 메트 최지 메트를 때 최신 툴도 뭐 고초 고자로 대신 최지 툴 그래서 때 대한 갈바실에 낸텐서 때네 단디날 가르스문다 소저서 원장 년람 이민지시죠. 원장 년람 이민지. 년주 특파도 좁아지려 봐. 상하게 택발에 택생도 두부지려 봐. 두부 약보겠죠 말이야. 수수 감을 가르쳐 줘. 감을 가르쳐 맞죠. 때 가르쳐 버려. 이나양 너르나 년초 티백에 깝게 택바 숨서 거대 봤지. 택바 숨지 당 엄마한테 차당 먹어. 산제백에 다지 차당 먹어. 차당 먹었을 바로 보게 차당 먹었을 말에 나랑 줄리에 차당 먹었어. 나랑 줄리에 더차 샤당 데모 땡 다우 찹센트 다다 나랑 되게 다테가 알나봐 저거 땐트 다테가 다테 좀 맞톱나 땐트 동할 때 다테 가지 좀난 되게 삼나 되게 말해 루텐 때다 좀 맞톱나 다테 좀 이렇게 차전 상관 말 루텐 미루터 거 젠 라마다 당마 거 진짜 매나 다좀 저거 말 다테 빼 맛을 다 차보처래 할 레벨에 다 탐지 나한테 다 독축 쳐보죠 자담 마서 대소사 다 산지소 라니 랑기 다인데 스티 아쳐도 라니 랑기 다인데 라니 랑기 게 나랑기 다테 나라래 자담 마서 나랑기 게한테 나라래 다 다테 가래 자담 마서 게한테 가래 잠년지 돈이도 버셔랍들 잠년지 돈이도 버셔랍들 나랑기 tetnelu shena teten ganzo tenji dewa se minji shawa za minji mashana de ma tenji dewa censa sin se minji censa sin ganzo censa yo ma ngarchi mi chukbo tezo le zong se jo zong se na de tene karse cikpa tung 에 즉바 즉신 첨부치 즉신을 뭐 총총들이 뭐 되늘도 매다다 다티를 맞대는데 다 종이 있어 다 다총도 다가가 매바 속에 있어 가서 갈래 열어 봐 telate 잼보스가 팀밍라 잼보요 말이지 잼보요 근데 나라서 좋아매 반절 런저 같이 좀이네 잼보요 말 아주 매게 통통하래 잼보면도 유르크 bomboyela gore bim bomsa mangbola wang jurkere nyama chinyi jinane ya changhanal chudore ya ko se shagare ta taba khaya sembo se tanyama 생사 심시 같이 생사 세르선 자 제바체나 참년지 잠바데 니지 똥이도 베셔 샤마지 ngoshene te ngang chongne tele tempa thomna te sensa simbar te bade tensa masimbar tenda sonza nyentu beke date chakpa chakse sen jinba sen chakpa sen tiki tele tene lenge basa tele tene 아니 녀마가 나 초바체 tele tene 동al 나 초바체 여기 요래라 텐데를 때다 다자초테 되샥 생인데 되샥 찌른 되샥 대비한테 강간한 되샥 디나네 포목이 세바티 텔라 때네 디네 가자 타도 된서 마모지 챔펠 제제를 로네 안에 신의 검에도 라통 검에도 텐델라 때네 다좀바 컴파라 객칭에 다초 된 되샥이 말 세상 년제백에 된 되샥 생인데 티 방차 쪼어티 말에 텔라 때네 찌를 뇌초 촉시 뇌초 촉시자 신투는 가르쳐 벤이 년제백에 견디 봐서 그 서든 울라과 창금에도 와 서든 울 창오 된 더버 패ker 세페 패ker 테네 아랍도 쇼야 가르쳐 버 두춤 소야 가르쳐 버 착세 펠는데 너무 뭐 맞지 잭잭이요 대선사 탑지차 탑 뇌충 촉시 탑 뇌작이 년보 미두버 거야 신드는 좀 가르쳐 버 미두버 거야 테네 지다 폼 더칸 발은 더샷 슈션 버려래 더샷 얘나야 미두바 입에 임서 오늘 야고 추석하시 지 감사나 샘트 괜찮아 차도 그러다 샘트 괜찮아 차도 소소 얘도 뭐 이렇게 거의 뭐에 포 근데 주변에는 야고 지 감사나 캔사지 차용을 다. 제가 미도 보고 봐서 다 미도 봐 검출때 다단다 셰자 말에 단다 셰자 말 마셔도 양 셰리 섬초 더 샤샤 아 도착이냐 뭐 미도 보고 봐 셰당이 뭐 잠바 봐 빼면서 가르쳐 봐 잠바야 보고 셰다마 차로 아 또 때문에 뭐 땡들 봐 노르드네 땡들 봐 땡들 존지 봐 파제나 캄 땡들 캄 봉보 캄도 젠지 된저 개발은 좀 땡주나는 도와 봉보 캄 젠지 땡든 오 된줄 장나 되네 대 가르래 뜨목 임버래 말이 그 임버래 최탐 지게 철업 남지 셔럽 패기래 철업 남지 셔럽 패기래 된들 때는 이 채나버서 켄죽 장고를 주고와 매번 켄죽 봉보 감 젠지 댄들 애들 내미 왕보 두 댐바 택바스 그 레우주만 돼요 말 빼면서 가르쳐 버려 대마다 가서 몽도 tru돼요 아주 쉬워이 삼돼요 단단하면 몽 true nor 아주 냠타 너 메시한테 언제 타냐 냠타 버려 줘버려 또 가르래고 강하고 막 알아서 삼출 때 삼로다 망보여래 가래요 가지요 찌야 메시면 찌야 메시면 나 톰톰으로다 정보셔 다다감이 없으면 좀남 셈태야지 직장 본다고 돈 본다고 인도하고 여러 봐도 더 중주로 가르래요 가야 거야 참에 착한 참에 봐 참에 떨매 이번에 대소자 다 탑듯이 소마탑 다 셔럽듯 가래 셔럽듯 신에 달라도 탑듯 주점리 탑듯 셔럽듯 신에 달라도 뒷얘기 냠네 쟤는 다좀 받고 봐 생토 자치 못이라 다트 갈치 못이라 원장 년람 이메지 체지 택신 쳐도다 체지 택신때 가르치는 쳐도 줘 버렸어 따와 대신 그 따와대 다음에 이 장반 말이야 소는 남자시 바로 뇌뇌 쳐담 다 동이 떠고 쳐담 라시지 덴버 마트 봐 제가 내서 잡아 임반에 임바 떠고요 대송서 다 따와치라 자셔 버 따와 공부 장주 숨주 잡진 자셔 버 저바데 파르도 쳐버 도도 오버 자셔 버 저버데 라운드 추고 센터 수고 생겼다 갈쳐 버 대송자 대sem직 토는 좋아 심지 직접 말해봐 다 심지 되게 그런 거 생각 대송사 대신도 줘도 줘 델레 다 택신 때문에 나는 좀 노르드나 더 갈보치에 탑지 나는 줘도 줘봐 다긴 대충 쪽시에 갈쳐버려 시에서 냐랑 값을라 택신 값을라 갈치수 잠내지 장주 삼들 탑 잠내지 장주 셈 심지 찜 마셈 발라 택받치 뭐 냠내 제 매버 택받치 뭐 냠내 줄라 제버게 짜베 잠인지 장주 셈 샤마 뭐마 줄이 짜고다 대체는 탑텔 때네 탑중 동이 더 싫었어 다 도토 탑시 야마르서 동的인지 예수매 봐서 된대로 소자全国际早晚呢，当年人气可能，当年人气到处呢，巴兰这样讨论，就当年人气马到呢，变得在快참세，说样个高点对的，他提前个多了的，台来吃把牙齿烂，恐怕可能没得去了，但牙가르쳐牙齿这不烂的去了，太不了，这不。그때 이시 단단한 남도 줘. 중주를 죽고 수고 또 뚫고 죽고 다 죽어서 그래. 라도 죽고 현재 수고 이제 단단한 냠살 하다. 단단해. 타말와 샤트라치 풍부 값잖아요. 중주를 겪고 손도 단단한 냠살 하는 거. 오, 되게 잡아라 봐라. 레때 냠살 랑시나 잡아라 봐라. 랑톱나 잡아라 봐라. 랑 냠소 랑 마톱 랑 마셰나 얘가 좀 버려. 텔라 야키 상탈 마키 상탈.
when we talk about the Dharma, there are many, many different meanings. The word in Tibetan is chö. In Sanskrit, we say dharma. Sometimes we say there are 10 different meanings of this term. But in general, it refers to objects of knowledge, that which we can come to know. And in fact, that which we can come to know includes all phenomena within samsara, nirvana, and the path. All of those phenomena are things that we can come to know, are objects of knowledge. And then within that context, what we need to come to know is actually that everything that appears and exists is the magical display of the mind. And then we make the supplication to receive the blessings to recognize the nature of that. The three kayas are naturally, spontaneously present within self-awareness. And we make the prayer or the aspiration to receive the blessings to gain stability within that. Actually, within our own self-awareness, the three kayas are naturally present. They are spontaneously and naturally present. We simply need to recognize that and gain stability within that. This is an important point. But there are different kinds of students, right? Many, many different kinds of disciples with different inclinations. We're not all the same. Some of the highest capacity, some of middling capacity, some of lesser capacity. We are all different, actually, in our abilities. Some people's minds are already naturally very calm and at ease and very sharp, and others less so. So everyone is actually different. We all have different capacities. And here it is mentioned that although it is through the special quality of being a short path that the great vehicle is exceedingly superior. That's mentioned here. But, it's not that it was already said here yesterday, it's not that one of the vehicles of the Buddha Dharma is somehow better than the other. Because actually it really depends on us. It depends on our own capacity and our own inclinations. For some people, compared with the Mahayana, the vehicle of the Shravakas is much better. It's much better for that person because it fits within their perspective. It makes sense to them. It clicks with them. And therefore, they're able to practice that. And through that practice, they can gain the state of an arhat. That's incredible. That's amazing to gain that accomplishment. And so for that person, because that is what makes most sense and what fits best with them, that for them is actually the best of the three vehicles. For them, it's the superior one. And for some people, more than practicing the Vajrayana, actually practicing Mahayana is much better. It suits them more. It fits within their understanding. They click with it. And for such a person, actually, then it's more beneficial to practice the Mahayana. For that person, they train in emptiness. They train in loving kindness and compassion. They practice the 6 perfections. They practice the 4 means of magnetizing. They practice these practices of a bodhisattva. And for that person, it works much better. And so for them, actually, for such a person, the practice of the Mahayana is more profound than Vajrayana practice for that individual. It is more profound, we can even say, because it matches them, because it suits them, and because it actually helps them transform and practice in a genuine way. And so then there are other people for whom the Vajrayana fits more. And it's just like that, actually. It's interesting if we think about in India, the Buddha taught the Dharma in the past, and it spread throughout many, many different countries in the world. And if we look at the way in which the Buddha's teachings spread into different countries, the teachings of the vehicle of the Shravakas, the Shravakayana, really spread quite widely to a lot of different places in the world, and the Mahayana also. Mahayana Dharma spread many places throughout the world. But when it comes to the Vajrayana, the outer tantras, the Kriya and Charya tantras, spread to many different countries. But when it comes to the higher tantras, yoga and Anuttara yoga tantras, the highest yoga tantras, those really seem only to have been passed from India into the Tibetan areas, Tibetan regions. And why did that happen? Well, we can investigate and examine and kind of try and figure out why that happened. But it is, in fact, the case that that happened. And what that means is that in Tibet, the tradition of tantric practice remains. The tradition has been preserved through the passing on of initiation, empowerment, the reading transmissions, instruction, and the pith instructions as well that are connected with the practice of these higher tantras. These remain in Tibet. And in Tibet, through practicing these kind of practices, countless practitioners have attained real accomplishment. Not just monks, not just nuns, not just ngakpas, ordinary lay people living a householder's life. And not just ordinary lay people living a householder's life, some who did really, really horrible things in their youth. And having done those really serious negative things, they killed, for example, men, like hunters who killed many, many wild animals, or people who lied, or people who deceived and tricked others. Really serious negative deeds. They, in the younger part of their life, they did really horrible things like this, but then they felt sincere regret. And having felt that tremendous regret, then they went to find a qualified lama. And in Tibet, there is no dearth of qualified lamas. They are everywhere in the central Tibet and in western Tibet and in eastern Tibet. There are really good teachers. If you want a learned teacher, you can find a learned master. If you want a realized master, you can find a realized master. If you want a disciplined master, you can find one of those too. There is no lack of qualified Tibetan masters. And so people then, these men and women who had done such horrible negative things in the younger part of their lives, they felt real regret about having done that. And then they thought, okay, I have to go find a teacher. And again, in Tibet, you can find one if you need one. It's like, so when it comes to finding a really qualified Dharma teacher, in Tibet, you can find them. If you want really good food, you better go to China. They have much better restaurants in China. But if you're interested in Tibet, if you want to find a good lama, you can find a good lama there for sure. Many, many lamas. And again, if you yourself want to become learned, then you should find a teacher who is learned. But if you yourself want to gain accomplishment in the practice, then you should find a teacher who is accomplished, because that is the way that you gain the practice that allows you learn the practice that allows you to become accomplished. And so this is what happened in the past to these practitioners, householders who had engaged in negative deeds. They really felt sincere regret about the negative things that they had done, and then they looked for a qualified teacher. And they underwent a lot of hardship in finding such a teacher. They spared no difficulty in finding such a teacher because it was something that was really important to them. They were very interested because they felt such regret for the negative deeds that they had done. It was so important to them to be able to find a qualified teacher to really take up the path of Dharma. And they put forth a lot of effort in doing that, thinking to themselves, I have to do it right now because maybe my life is going to end. And I've already done all these horrible things. And if I don't find a teacher and receive instruction and practice the Dharma before I die, then my future will be very terrible. And so they then would find a teacher, a really genuinely qualified teacher with whom they had a connection, and then tell that teacher all of the negative things that they had done openly, not hiding anything. I did this and I did that. They would very openly confess all of the negativity. And then the Lama would check with the student, okay, well, do you really regret what you did? Do you really have regret for those negative deeds? And really investigate and examine. And then, having decided that the student was qualified, the Lama would give instructions. The student would really accept them and put them into practice, feeling such strong regret for what they had done in the past. And in that way, countless practitioners gained accomplishment, actually. It's said that a horrible sinner, someone who has done really terrible negative actions, can be tamed by the Dharma. But someone who is jaded to the Dharma cannot. This is very important, actually, for us to acknowledge and to know, because it can happen that somebody has studied a lot of texts and without really taking to heart the instructions, without feeling real renunciation and weariness with samsara, they've learned a lot. They become very intelligent, very learned in the scriptures, and they start to think, I'm really smart, And they get jaded to the teachings because they didn't really take them to heart, and they start to think, I'm so intelligent, I can prove anything, I can refute anything, and they have a lot of pride. I've memorized so many scriptures, I studied so much and I've memorized it all. I studied reasoning, I can refute any proposition that you put before me. And then they have such pride. And then even they refute the view of the Shravakas, looking down at the Shravaka vehicle, that's the Hinayana, they refute it, but they haven't even realized the view of the Shravakayana. And yet without having realized that view, the view of the Shravakayana is the absence of a personal self. And they didn't realize that, and that yet they refute and look down on that tradition. And they feel so proud about themselves and what they know. So this actually can happen. And when that happens, such a person, you say actually that through the Dharma one accumulates evil deeds. If it's like that, through the so-called Dharma, right, trying to practice the Dharma, thinking you're so knowledgeable and skilled in the Dharma, you're actually doing a lot of negativity. And so, again, it's so important that we don't get caught up into that situation where we are generating pride and jealousy and competitiveness through our so-called Dharma studies and practice. That would be a real shame if that happens. And so, again, it's said that compared to a person like that, somebody who has done a lot of evil can be tamed by the Dharma if that person feels regret. Feeling really sincere and genuine regret for the negative things that they have done. And thinking, what I have done right now, if I don't do anything about it, I'm going to hell, the lower realms. It's painful there. The suffering in the hell realms is horrible. And Tibetans really believe in karma. So when they feel regret about having done something negative, it's because they really believe in karmic cause and effect, and they really believe that they're going to suffer for those negative deeds that they have done. And so there's some sense of fear, actually. I have to do something about this, or else I will end up in a very painful, unfortunate situation. And so really, this is the case. A person who has done great negativity with regret can be tamed by the Dharma, but someone who is jaded to the teachings cannot. If we become jaded to the teachings, they can't touch us and they can't tame us. This is a really important point, actually. Here in the text it mentions that it is through the special quality of being a short path that the greater vehicle is exceedingly superior. So then we might wonder, well, is it the case actually that the Shravaka vehicle is not as good as the Mahayana? Is the Mahayana not as good as the Vajrayana? No, it's not like that. We're not talking about one teaching or one path being better and another one being worse. It's not about being better and being worse. It's not like that at all. The difference is what suits you and what doesn't suit you. Your particular inclination, your particular character. Some of the Buddhist paths suit someone, and then others suit someone else. It's just like that, what suits us and what is most suitable for us. What is actually the enemy of practitioners of all three vehicles of the Buddha Dharma? Our enemy is attachment and aggression and stupidity. That's the enemy for all of us. It's all of our shared common enemy as Buddhist practitioners, no matter what vehicle of the Dharma we practice. And it's not somebody else's attachment that's the enemy. It's not somebody else's anger. It's not somebody else's confusion. It's mine. My own attachment, my own anger, my own stupidity. That's actually my worst enemy. My worst enemy. It harms me right now, and it will bring about harm that continues and lasts, lasting, long-term harm. If I am not able to overcome these enemies, I will suffer tremendously because of them. And this body that we have right now, this precious human body, is a very important condition for being able to actually practice in a way that allows us to overcome that enemy. Because if we're born into other forms and if we don't have this support of a precious human body, we don't have all the necessary conditions to really be able to overcome our enemy of the afflictive emotions. We need to have a precious human body and we also need to meet a qualified spiritual teacher. These things are essential if we want to really overcome our enemy, our afflictive emotions. And this enemy is a dangerous enemy. Attachment, anger, stupidity, my own attachment, anger, and stupidity is a really dangerous enemy. The Buddha said, you are your own enemy, and you are your own protector. This is really important, this point. You are your own enemy. How are we our own enemy? Our attachment, our anger, and our stupidity. This is our own enemy. And how are we our own protector? Love, compassion, the wisdom that realizes emptiness. When these qualities arise within our minds, this is our protection. And it's important that we know this, because if we come to a genuine recognition, actually, and realization of the qualities of love and compassion and wisdom, the wisdom that realizes emptiness, that brings us to lasting happiness. Lasting happiness. And that's the name that we call the state that we attain through practicing and training in that way. It's actually a truly safe place. And without that, we're never truly safe. In fact, and you think about in past times, looking in the history, many places in the world actually, people built fortresses, right? They wanted to feel safe. They built up on a hill a fortress with a really, really thick wall, and they went inside of that, behind those thick walls, and looked out with guns or with arrows, bows and arrows, and they thought, if anybody comes, I'll be able to see the enemy, and I'll be able to get him before he gets me. And they built these walls, and inside those walls they felt safe. But they were not safe. Being in a fortress doesn't make us safe. No matter how much money we have, how many possessions we have, how much fame, how much power, no matter how many millions of people are under our power or in our control, we are not safe. Look at people in that situation who are in charge of hundreds of thousands of other people, who are wealthy, who have everything that they could possibly want in terms of material goods. And look what happens. One day, they have it. The next day, they could lose it all. One day they have it. The next day, they could be killed. People in that situation, even in those situations, they're not safe. They have not found a safe place. So how? How do we become safe? How do we find a place that's truly safe? Well, to explain it in a more extensive way, we have to come to a genuine realization of love and compassion and emptiness. We have to genuinely, first we have to recognize that state, that true natural state, and then we have to be able to sustain that recognition, and then we have to gain stability in that. And only once we gain stability in that recognition of the true nature of things, only then we become really safe. Until then, we're not safe. Until then, no matter where we are or what we do, we are not safe. And here, what is our enemy? I mentioned in the context of the vehicle of the Shravakas, the Shravakayana, the main enemy from the perspective of that vehicle of the Buddha Dharma is actually our attachments. Our attachment and our clinging, because on the basis of attachment and clinging, it is said, and in fact we do, engage in negative deeds. And those negative deeds then lead us to suffering. We have all sorts of negative emotions, and on the basis of all of those negative emotions, we do all sorts of negative things, and we experience various types of suffering, lots of suffering. And so, from the perspective of the Shravaka vehicle, our primary enemy is actually our attachment. In general, all sorts of attachment to all of the sense pleasures. That's the general enemy. But most specifically is the attachment and attraction, passion, that we feel for other humans, right? Often men for women, the attachment that women feel towards men, that kind of passion. That creates a lot of pride. It creates a lot of jealousy. It creates a lot of competitiveness. We engage in negative emotions and negative deeds, one after the other, because of that kind of passion that we feel. And it gets in the way of being able to do shamatha practice. It prevents us from being able to do vipassana practice. And if we don't practice shamatha and vipassana, then we do not reach the result of arhatship, right, in that vehicle. That kind of passion, that type of attachment and craving that we feel for others, that is, in this vehicle of the teachings, in the Shravaka vehicle, that's our worst enemy. It's explained. And so what's the remedy to that? How do we get rid of that situation? Well, we try to have few desires and feel content with what we had. So having few desires and feeling contentment. This is the remedy. And that's actually, if you look to practitioners of the Shravaka vehicle, you see that, for example, they won't even touch gold or silver. They won't touch it. Because the idea is that holding such a thing might cause craving for it. And since craving is our enemy, since attachment is our enemy, we just avoid coming into contact with the thing that would cause that kind of craving. And in this vehicle of the teachings, monastic vows are very important, to actually take the vows of a monastic practitioner and to observe the discipline, the rules of discipline of a monastic practitioner. Because again, craving and passion causes an increase in all of the negative emotions, and that gets in the way of our progress on the path. So the method then to counteract that is to have few desires and to feel content with whatever one has. And so again, because in particular the kind of attraction that we feel often between men and women, that kind of attraction causes a lot of negative emotions. So the remedy that's given for that is to contemplate the unclean or impure nature of the object of your desire. And so, in this, we're in the desire realm, and in the desire realm, there's a lot of desire in general, all kinds of desire. But in particular, this specific kind of desire that we feel towards other people is an obstacle for practice. And so the remedy for that then, it's taught in this vehicle of the teachings, in the Shravaka vehicle, is to contemplate the impure, unclean nature of the object of your desire. And if you really do that, really, like you have some desire for someone, and then you really spend a few hours thinking about all of the impure substances in that person and all of the impurity in that person's body. If you do it for a few hours, something happens to the mind. Something a little unusual happens to the mind, actually. You spend a few hours really contemplating the unclean nature of that object of your desire. It does, in fact, change us. That man or woman that you previously thought was so lovely, somehow you begin to have a different perspective on that object of passion. It really does change. So anyway, that's not our topic here, the meditation on the unclean, impure nature of the objects of our desire. So maybe better not get into all of those details here because it might really kind of shake you up a little bit. So anyway, but that is the practice that is taught in that tradition. Also, as a remedy for our anger, the remedy for anger is taught to be training in and cultivating love. And the remedy for ignorance, delusion, is to contemplate the links of dependent origination. The short version is just to contemplate the 12 links of dependent origination, but in a more detailed way, we can really contemplate the aggregates and the elements and the sense sources and dependent origination, thinking all of these topics that are mentioned in the Mipa Rinpoche's Gateway to Knowledge, right, if we're studying the Abhidharma. These kind of topics, really contemplating them and learning them, act as a remedy to our confusion, to our ignorance, actually. They're a remedy to our ignorance. So using this investigating into phenomena with the supreme form of knowledge, really coming to know the nature of all phenomena, is the method here. And this is actually, I tell you often how important it is, right, to study the Kenjuk, Mipa Rinpoche's Gateway to Knowledge. I've mentioned it to a number of you recently. So learning about the aggregates, the elements, the sense sources, the truths, dependent origination, time, the correct and the incorrect, and so many topics. There are 10 of them, only 10, just 10 chapters actually. So you can learn all of these topics. And it really acts as a remedy to our ignorance, because honestly speaking, we're ignorant. We are confused. We are deluded. We think we have so much, but human beings, honestly, really, sincerely speaking, we're so poor. We're actually we're destitute in the sense that we have no idea what's going to happen to us. We think somehow that we have so much, we have some wealth, we have some power, some position, something. We have all this stuff, and somehow we think that we're something. We have no clue what's going to happen in our future. We just don't have any idea what will come in the next moment even. And so we somehow think we're really something, but if we really investigate and examine the situation, we're really confused. We're really in the dark. We are, if we're honest with ourselves. And so we have to rely on some methods. I already mentioned the aspect of method, in particular in the context of the Shravaka path, training in these methods of shamatha and vipassana. And then the wisdom aspect is the wisdom that realizes the absence of a self. And again, when those aspects of method are brought together with the aspect of wisdom, then we train and arrive at the state of an arhat. That is the result. So here, again, in the same verse in the text mentions, through the special quality of being a short path, the great vehicle is exceedingly superior. Yet even superior to it, the path of mantra is even higher and amazingly unique. So if we think about, it says here that the great vehicle is exceedingly superior. So how should we understand that? Well, it's not just the two aspects of the absence of self that are taught in the great vehicle. In addition to the absence of self in persons and the absence of self in phenomena, actually everything is taught to be empty. Everything from form up to and including omniscience. All of these phenomena, their emptiness is what is taught and what is ascertained in the teachings of the great vehicle. And that's incredibly vast, right? That's everything that there is. And when it comes to the meditation of the greater vehicle, the meditation is training in the 37 aspects of awakening. The conduct is training in the 6 perfections and the 4 means of magnetizing and so on. And the result is to attain the Dharmakaya for one's own benefit and the form kayas, which are attained for the benefit of others. And also when we think about the Mahayana being exceedingly superior, this is also in relation to the attitude of generating bodhicitta. When we generate this attitude bent on awakening, this attitude of wishing to attain awakening for the benefit of all beings, we do so in the Mahayana thinking of every single sentient being without even one exception. So that's an incredibly vast attitude and aspiration to establish beings in that way, in awakening. And so in that sense, the great vehicle is superior. When it comes to the methods of the great vehicle, you remember just a moment ago I was talking about the methods of the Shravaka vehicle. And I said the method there is to have few desires and to feel content with whatever one has, right? But here in the Mahayana, the method is to cultivate love and compassion and bodhicitta. So this is the method of practice in the Mahayana. And if we don't really embrace our practice with that kind of love and compassion and bodhicitta, it doesn't really count as Mahayana practice. It isn't Mahayana practice unless it is embraced with this genuine training in love and compassion and bodhicitta. This is a must for us, actually. It's essential as a method for practicing in the Mahayana. And then the method, that method of love and compassion and bodhicitta, brings about that which arises from the method, which is wisdom. The wisdom of emptiness that comes out of the practice of those methods. And these two aspects of method and wisdom we have to combine and we have to practice them together. So it's said that the root of the Dharma is just emptiness and compassion, nothing other than that. And that if a shepherd realizes emptiness and compassion, then he will attain liberation. And if a pandita, a learned scholar, does not truly realize emptiness and compassion, then he or she will wander in samsara. So this aspect of emptiness and compassion together is very important. It is mentioned in our text that even superior to the greater vehicle, the path of mantra is even higher and amazingly unique. So here, what are we referring to as the path of mantra? The path of mantra is a path of practice in which we take the result as the path. That means we take the kayas and wisdoms of perfect awakening as the path right now. The Dharmakaya, the Sambhogakaya, the Nirmanakaya, the Dharmakaya, which we realize for our own benefit, and the form kayas, which are realized for the benefit of others, those kayas are taken as our practice right now. Right now, in our ordinary bodies, which are made of flesh and blood, we practice with taking onto the path those future awakened bodies, the Dharmakaya and the form kayas. We take those as the path right now. And if we can practice like that, then, as it says, the path of mantra is even higher and amazingly unique. If we are able to practice like that, it is amazing, amazingly unique. If we're not able to practice in that way, then it's dangerous. And that's why they say with Vajrayana, you either go straight up or straight down.
Songjo chamerongwa. Oh, songjo chamerongwa. Songjo. Songjo le ten seba mamba perkyo. Segu neman zum zamche. Ane shilakti jamiche. Adajun pe komputer yare. Karesu ne songjo chen seba perkire. Chimne ne seba perkire. Songjo. Mambu nyarya.
Okay.
How you say? Collecting. That tepa chimbi capsula arang ki turn to songjo checho mare. Shenju dandolo songjo chen digiri. Songjo cheba dan chakshen checho mare. Serti ngula lakbe chani digiri. Chapa checho mare. Chakshen checho mare. Ratna genon de gesul ki domba lengore. Tedar machuna ten genyen chen digiri. Ina nyamle mache tab mebade chamye chanchu sem tan delve ko de parchi to la so be jas jas be nyamle chegwar. Tendele rangtun chuku sentun sugu jelo ta rawa to go yor te ko te bare. Ti shile shabe go ne tomo te bata ti shenke nyamle ti shile shabe to ne ten sanga la ne mebe nyamle sa ta paju maju Nyimi ju la soba ju de su gomba shesul telaya ta gom che de napsha pe ship sabo kalchimbo mangbo yore. Tene ina ya cha dorchu dona ishi lule ne zalon tile ne nunde dagi nencho kapsula lu dukden chu phumbo dongar tamchi ke jise tuk chena lamsan nagre tuk chena lamsan na chukcho 사축저요. 네 담면다. 동안 담면다. 강가 영색이 자원도 어쨌든 루샤라지 폼보들이. 루치포. 대야 로버트 말아서 야샤바. 야캉스레 예. 소볼에 야르게 캉바스 야로 캉바스. 야로 캉바들 나랑 로촌니 섬네 샤신제 맞춰보. 야샤바데 산이파 코랑 중공 코랑을 파 ndro나야 단동이 섬. 야르 칸바서 남시트 톰 남시트 단다 디레질 야네 디나르다 띵아랑기 삼대요레 대송som 택생그 로라트 손 남시지 버디 디베 초담자라 신시 덴바르 마르 똥이 따와티 여바예나 아니 가네야 착신의 숙중어요 랍다 착신 매번 용어 대담마다 착신 숙중어요 나자 타도 대신 레레 녀버르 땡고면도 거랑시 샤생가가 막 카트인도. 대 거랑 삼머리 따와 삼머리. 대 강라다 상하게 냠내게 짜베 짜와 양산라네 메베 루라 나시 다바람 좀 세소요. 다대 고갈 가버려. 고향 갈 가버려. 냠소 라야라 갈 가버려. 라 톰나 신도 유를람. 또 나시 다바람 좀 세. So, Lula, nga eating in Chersum, Nancy Taboram Jam. Then, Tea, Tako de Vachabayana, Jen Chi, Jen Lamani, Casa Jubit Lama, Lama Topa de Debeki, Judench Lama Chick down, Deshi Kai Lama, or Kai Lama. That's a tea dama manga la soba. Tea near the dinner, turn them shit lama the rank is some kitchen, do a tatam to the tower, or such a watchable, or such a chamber. Ting washing it, ting out join. Then Sisum Jijang Artame, Dang Alla, Shamba Mason, Dang W the color and Shambayama. Sebasum Jina, Artamendo. W the Kalaya, the Chapa Shambamendo, Dang Lamcher, Nyoma Lamcher. Dön lamchir sen çıkıyor. Ta tilletin ya norsi yor. Norsi dön lamchir. Dön mampang lamchir. Nyomo mapang lamchir. Lamchir she mashina ben yakaçım var. Çerşena mabje tuksena mabje ke lüke dondan jevanasi. Nanjur beketen. Tunga lamtu çerşena nyamto apelge yor. Sonra da tenso sama Sama Sampi Bechabar, Sama Sampi Mavijar, Tandorna Dinala, the Chigdeto, Toyogodo. Tele, Chabaranga, Lam, Komakona Metation, Tea, Shetan Lamye, then Debutan, some soldier. Conde Irme Gosum Lam, Shider, Rogic Lema days. The Duke Capsula, Shi Yimbala, Lamji Imbarshi, and Debu in top. Yana Janshi Semi Saldon, Somju. Jangcha lover jutul betema jangde de chuku chuku to tatam chit dawa tatin de so doyo tatin trusha
Our enemy as Buddhist practitioners is the three poisons. And from the perspective of the Shravaka vehicle, the enemy, our main enemy, is our attachment and craving. And it is on the basis of our attachment and craving that we engage in a lot of negative deeds, accumulate a lot of negative karma, and give rise to a lot of negative emotions and confusion. And so the practice that remedies that is to have few desires and to feel content with what one has. And here it's important to maintain discipline, actually. Discipline is really emphasized. To live a very simple life and actually not accumulate, right? This is the practice not to collect a lot of things. So a practitioner following this tradition would just want to keep just enough food and clothing and necessities to get by, but not really collect or accumulate more than that. In the Mahayana, you're allowed to collect and accumulate things if it's for others' benefit, not for yourself. But if you're doing it with an altruistic motivation, then it's acceptable. It's fine to do that. And so in the Mahayana also, for example, it's okay to have gold and silver and so on, as long as you're not attached to it. That's the point. You can't have the attachment. Having the thing is not a problem. Having the attachment is what is the problem. So in the Shravaka vehicle, or in the Mahayana, of course, it's wonderful to be a monk, a fully ordained monk or nun. That would be the best. But it's also perfectly fine to practice with, as one's support, just having the vows of a layperson, a householder. That's totally fine, because what's most essential is love and compassion and bodhicitta. That's the most important point for our practice in the Mahayana. And through that practice, we attain the Dharmakaya for one's own benefit and the form kayas that benefit others. This then becomes the foundation or the basis for the practice of secret mantra. So the foundational vehicle of the Buddha Dharma and the Mahayana together serve as the foundation for the practice of Vajrayana. And in the Vajrayana, we have different types of tantras, the father tantras, the mother tantras, the non-dual tantras. And each of these tantras, these tantric systems, has their own view, view and meditation and conduct and result, actually. All of those can be different in each of these different tantric systems. So there's a lot of details, and one could get into a lot of details there. But in short, when we talk about the tantric system, we could say that in short, it is said that great wisdom abides in the body. Great wisdom abides in the body. And that means that when one applies the key points of the channels and the winds and the essences in the body, it's possible to use that as a way to come to meet with wisdom. And actually, in the vehicle of the Shravakas, as I mentioned before, the body is considered to be like a heap of pain, actually, a painful heap of aggregates. You know, you just sort of poke this thing and it already hurts a little bit. It's like really right on the verge of being in pain. Any minute now we could get sick. Any minute now some kind of suffering could befall us because we have these bodies, right? These bodies of flesh and blood. They're just always ready to hurt. And not just that, it's borrowed, actually, this body. It borrowed from the 5 elements. It's like a rented house. We don't even own it. And despite that fact, we hold on to it. We think, this is mine, this is mine. We have so much attachment and craving to something that's just basically a borrowed house. We're a tenant, and then we think somehow we own it. Then in the Mahayana teachings, it is said that everything from form up to and including omniscience, all of these phenomena are naturally not real, not truly established. That is their nature, to lack true establishment, real existence. And when we really come to understand that, then actually we don't get so attached to things, right? If we understand that they're not real, none of these things are real, then of course we naturally have less attachment. So this is really kind of like the best remedy for our attachment. We naturally feel less attached, and generally a decrease in negative emotions with respect to phenomena once we acknowledge the fact of their not being truly established, not being truly real. And then you don't need a separate remedy for attachment, and a separate remedy for anger, and a separate remedy for stupidity. You just need that one, which is to acknowledge that none of these things are truly real in the first place. Then, what about the Vajrayana? What is the real root of Vajrayana practice? It is the view that of the perfect purity of everything that appears and exists. The perfect purity of all that appears and exists. This is hard to understand. It's also hard to realize, to practice. But if you can train in this way, then accomplishment comes very quickly. So we train in the Vajrayana in acknowledging or seeing the body as the deity, speech as mantra, and the mind as samadhi, meditative concentration. And in this way, we train in the view of the great purity of all that appears and exists, this all-encompassing purity. Here then, in the Vajrayana, we rely upon also these outer conditions, the conditions of outer lamas, like a lama or a guru who is a person, who holds the lineage of realization. We rely upon such a guru as an outer condition. Also the guru that is the words of the Buddha. This is an outer condition that we rely upon, these gurus, these outer gurus, from whom we receive instructions, from whom we receive the pith instructions, the oral instructions, the teachings. And those gurus are meant to help us come to meet the ultimate guru, which is our own basic nature. And that then is the intent of the luminous great perfection, the luminous Mahamudra. We come to meet that natural state. And once we have really met that natural state, and once we become stable in that, then even if all of the 3 universes were to be destroyed, we would have no fear. And no matter what kind of sense pleasures there are present and we engage with, we have no attachment to them. So that is what happens when we gain that kind of stability in this state. That's why the practice in the Vajrayana is the practice of taking the sense pleasures onto the path, taking the negative emotions onto the path. And if we can practice like that, it's extremely beneficial, but it's also quite difficult to do so. Not abandoning the sense pleasures, but actually taking them onto the path. Not abandoning the negative emotions, but taking them as the path. If one knows how to practice like this, if one can practice like this, it's extremely beneficial. If one does not know how and is not able, it's quite dangerous. And it's also very possible to mistakenly understand the intent of those kind of statements. So it's like a peacock. A peacock eats poison, and the poison makes the peacock so much more beautiful. A yogi who knows how to practice doesn't abandon, but makes use of the negative emotions to arise as wisdom, and gets great benefit from that. But somebody who doesn't know how to practice in that way, for such a person, it really can be can create a lot of problems. So that's why these teachings are secret, actually. And why am I mentioning these teachings that are secret? Well, it came out of this statement here where it says, even superior to the greater vehicle, the path of mantra is even higher and amazingly unique. It says that the ground, path, and fruition, although these three are taught, samsara and nirvana are still indivisible as the expanse of the three kayas, and the ground and fruition never depart from being one taste. So here we talk about the ground and the fruition, but in fact they are of a single taste. They are in fact indivisible in the tantric perspective. Or we could also say that that the basis for purification is the luminous nature itself, and then of the nature of the mind itself. That which is to be purified are temporary stains, and the result of that purification are the kayas, the dharmakaya, the kayas of perfect wisdom. So this is another way that we could express that, and we'll stop the teaching here today.
냠래 샤마지 제고요래 제술 때 간디래 측소 뇽뇽 가시지는 뒤나 년중 조시 랍지 잠닝지 랍지 무그 다나 랍지 여반이나 상하도르지 티비케 냠래케 독체 냠래 강가 렐라보 지는 독도 딘니 랍지면은 상하도르지 티비 최삼 인장 또 두고 말 최삼도 또 그래 또도 티비케 차체는 좀 그래 차체 나는 갈치 지다 차체 탑지 차 강가 차체래 그래도 차체 탑지 이제 나는 메타 메바 차체 카시 지를 뜨네 똑보이시 센터도 못 쳐발라 차체 메타 메바데 년중 조시 랍 잠닝지 랍 무고 당나 랍 티숨이나 되네 똑차 거기 시지 내로 또 여러분들 신 차진 유는 마보 지를 뜨 마모 냐냐빈여버 샤비치버 마보 신 얌슬라 로단다와 테이크 알파 소 탑착 원전 타네데 내로 또 마토바 차그래 돼서 내로 엄마 또 저렇게 찬시 고다 거라 마보지 여바르 주간가 거라 티나는 메타 메바 티숨리 티 임발레 인술티 야포지 차나서 툴 샤네 냠슬라로 나 레도에 담보
If we want to practice the Vajrayana really, genuinely, and authentically and correctly, the practice what's the most important thing can be presented in just a few words. Just a few words, actually. Renunciation and weariness with samsara. We have to have really the highest possible level of renunciation and weariness with samsara. Love and compassion. The highest possible degree of love and compassion. We need that. Pure perception, devotion, the highest possible level of devotion and pure perception. If you have those three things, that realization of the Vajrayana that you need to come to realize will be very easy to realize if you have those. But without that, no matter how profound the Dharma is, and the Vajrayana Dharma is profound, but we won't realize it. And that's the whole point. We have to realize the profound Dharma. That's what we're trying to do. That's the whole point of our practice. We have to realize the Dharma, the profound Dharma. And we need certain circumstances and conditions to make that happen. It has to happen. We have to bring them together. And there are all sorts of conditions and circumstances that are helpful. But there are some that are absolutely essential. Like absolutely essential. And if you lack them, you don't have what it takes. But if you have them, you've got what it takes to come to that realization. And what are those things? Renunciation and weariness with samsara. Love and compassion. Devotion and pure perception. If you have those things, then you will be able to recognize, to realize that which we must come to realize, which is the natural state. We have to realize the natural state. We must. And those are the specific conditions that make it possible for us to come to that realization. Without that, you can do all sorts of other things, this, that, this and the other, all sorts of other things. You can spend months and months, years and years doing all sorts of other practices and all sorts of other things, and that's not going to bring you to a recognition of the natural state. You won't recognize it without those. You absolutely need those certain causes and conditions, those circumstances are necessary to bring us to a recognition of the natural state. That's what we need. Okay? So those three things are really important. Please keep this in your heart. Really take it to heart and practice. Please practice these things because that's what we need if we want to come to that recognition. Okay? And now, is that true? What do you think about that? You have to be sure about it. You have to really have certainty. It's really important, certainty. Like, if I don't have renunciation, I'm not going to come to the recognition of the natural state. You have to be sure about that. I have to have compassion. I must have compassion. You have to be sure about it. You have to be really certain. You have to be sure. Without devotion and pure perception, it's not possible for me to recognize the natural state. You need to be really, absolutely certain about these things, okay?
Yes or no? Not everybody.
I'm sure. You know, if you really come to a sense of certainty about that, then what we're doing right here, this Dharma teaching situation that's happening right now, if you come to this certainty, then that was meaningful. It's been meaningful for me to speak to you. And it's been meaningful for you to listen to what I've said, if you come to that certainty. Otherwise, yeah, it's like some pretty words. I'm sitting here saying some nice sounding words. You're sitting there nicely listening. It's not that meaningful unless you come to that certainty.
I will tell one short story. We have here Khenpo's, and Khenpo has mother, and Khenpo loved mother loved Khenpo very much. So I told to Khenpo, you know, you loving mommy is very nice, but you know what's the best helpful is teaching, isn't it? He says, yes. So I said, I will teach sometime, but you must teach him refuge, bodhicitta, how to visualize, the meaning of the mantra, because your mom is going Kora and post-station, you must teach. So I told to the mom, you must listen teaching from your son. She says, yes. He hesitated. He says, to mom, I said, you must teach. It's very important to teach mom. He hesitated. I said, you must. So first day, he invited mom. Said, come morning, 9 o'clock. Rinpoche asked me to give teaching you. You come. She came 9:30. Okay, that's normal, Nepali time. So then son told, Mommy, don't late because I have another class. I need to teach to other monks. You must come 9 o'clock. Then she came next day, 9 o'clock. Then he teach a little bit. He says, son, I love you, but enough. I don't know what to say. I must go to practice. Then son says, what? I must go to practice. Then he says, what? I need to go Kora. So logic is, Kangba na Kora chap. Kangba shao machung upon the Kora cham na chap. Dun get ganga dun na dun. Hakuso. Gom. Some chitin detem mepat tendage dammer gom na gom. Tawa marta.
Here's the thing. You can do koras until you can't walk anymore. You can recite until you lose your voice. You can meditate thinking about this thing and that thing and this and that and sending your mind here all over the place and until you just can't, your mind just falls apart, you can't think anymore. And you will not recognize the view doing those things.
Got it? Oh. No.
That's the main point. That's the key point. That's what you got to know.
Atisha, when he teach in Tibet, there's many followers. Then one follower asked to Atisha, Kanjur, the words of Buddha, I'm reciting, I'm reading, I have memorized quite a lot. Is this good enough or not? Then says, Kanjur chasa lola yunayang. Dangma dunkin lama jimena. Kanjur lola yunayang. Chana tawa togmaris.
He said, even if you've memorized the entire Kangyur, all of the words of the Buddha, if you don't have a guru to give you the pith instructions, you will not recognize the view.
Yang chik sugar, ngazu pepe meti lumbore. Chik sung tizo ka mense ke samo shata dos. Ngazu semla jaya ta nyamso laya la kale khabu dos. Tabga kanga chikso mangpo chik nana ji soro na sure.
So then another thing he said, we Tibetan people are not that sharp, and your words are so profound, your teachings are so profound, but it's hard for us to learn all of these things. Please, can you just give one word, all of the pith instructions, can you just put it together, please, just into one word for me? He asked like that. The real heart of all the Dharma, the essence. And he said, great compassion. The real root of all of the 84,000 Dharma teachings is great compassion.
Oh, then cool. What drumsome.
And then his disciples, Ku, Ngok, and Drom, they practiced great compassion, and through this practice they attained the state of great awakening, right? There's one really special, unique quality of Buddhas and sentient beings, both actually, the nature, the basic nature that's present in both Buddhas and sentient beings, and that's compassion, great compassion. It's not just the Buddhas who have it, it's present in our nature as sentient beings. Without that, we couldn't gather the accumulations, we couldn't purify our obscurations, we couldn't traverse the path and arrive at awakening. It's only possible because that is our basic nature, actually. Great compassion.
One thing, I am teaching Dharma. In Dharma mention how important the compassion and wisdom. So in this mandala, we all listening the compassion and the wisdom, and also we apply the compassion and the wisdom to do that. No, do all that. How you say? Because of that. Mm-hmm. Because of that, we are very happy, very joyful to be together here.
Right? Aren't we all happy? Isn't there some joy in being here together? Don't you have a joyful feeling? Where did that come from, that joy? From compassion. The qualities of compassion are inconceivable. Compassion just naturally reduces all of our negative emotions, all of them. That's the reason why it's so joyful being here together. The reason for that is because of compassion, because of love. That's where it came from, our love. We have to know that. It's important. Shantideva said, there is no virtue like love. There is no evil like anger. There is no hardship like patience. He said that. We have to apply those words directly to our own experience.
In my mind, we are quite bogus. Mm-hmm. Yesterday and today, even 2, 3 sessions inside, we are very bogus.
We're all taming. Our minds are becoming more and more tamed, all of us.
Do what?
Right?
That is the success. We
have to tame our minds. Tame your own mind. What is the real teaching of the Buddha? Tame your own mind fully.
And Buddha says, best help to others much as you can. Physically, verbally, mentally, directly, indirectly, not only human, all sentient beings, equally help. Who help you, who love you, help. Who hurt you, beat you, harm you, help. Equally. Much as you can. That is the best. At least, don't harm by physically, verbally, even don't think to harm. Please. That is his statement. Top of that, tame your mind. So what makes us tame? Impermanent make us tame. Loving kindness and compassion make tame. Insight make tame. There's no other way to tame. Only pray, no. If donate a lot of money, say, ask pray for me, tame mind. Very difficult. Maybe more proud because you donated. So we need to use our intelligent brain, especially Buddhist way of practices. We need to fully use our intelligence. So bottom line is what we need. Heart full of karuna. Brain full of emptiness. Similar. Tuatatu nyingchi ki simchuti len de gore. Simchuti. Tongi ta namshete, nambar shepante. Sungzing namshi jorwa. There number metok pe ishi jet ngang ne tunda ko. Number metok pe ishi ngang ne tunda na ta rab. Choba rab.
And so we need our mind streams, they have to be suffused with love and compassion always. Our minds must always be moistened with love and compassion. And our mind, this consciousness, which is otherwise always caught up with subject, object, subject, object, subject, object, that needs to fall away so that we remain always within the state of non-conceptual wisdom. That's the best.
Yeah? Okay? Talk is good enough? Okay. Oh, listen. After teaching, please go to eat. One that side, one this side. I hope there's few lines. Eat. Pass a little fast. Fast. Whatever you like to eat, put quick and don't look here, there, but put quick. Because eating time is not for looking, sightseeing. Sightseeing time need to look. So time is precious, number one. I want you all get fresh, hot food. Hot food, number one. Number two, I asked Lamala, teaching will start 2:30. Otherwise, you might say, oh, too long. I might go home. So eat, rest a little bit, start soon, 2:30, number two. That's very important. And number third, today I'm talking about Kenjuk, Mepam Kenjuk. I asked one of the Kempo, it's not in class, this is not arranged by Ranjung Institute, it's extra, those who know Tibetans, those who know Tibetans, Himalayans, they really want to learn in Tibetan language, some perform Dharma terminology. So then I thought it's very important to, 1 week, 1 to 2 days, 5:30, which day I forgot, they will teach in class. So who can, there's no translator. Anybody can go, but no translator. So better to, you have, if you know Tibetan, maybe less boring. Yeah. Number one, eat food fresh, fast possible. 2:30, come back. 3, who interest to learn?
I mentioned before, right, that this is the remedy for ignorance. No? We are ignorant. Don't think that you're not, okay? Because we are.
Okay. I don't remember. Oh, flower is very important. Flower is very important. Flower is healer. Flower is very important. We're talking about environment problem. So we need to love to flower. We need respect to flower. We need to enjoy to flower. Flower, fruit, tree, vegetables. These are extremely important. It is medicine. It is healing. It is beautiful. So I want people to know the value of the flower. If you have surround money, billions paper, and gold hanging, diamond, ding, 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 tilling, 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 bling, bling, you feel very, very scared, you know. Who will come? Who will shot me? Who will rob me? Oh, the diamonds making sling, sling, tring, tring, tring. Money is like brick. The golds are lighting, flashing. Few fresh flowers. Wow. It brings your mind calm. So please respect to flower. enjoy to flower. Flower is medicine for health and mind. It's very, very important. So I like to promote. We like to make more flowers. Flower individually in puja room, in your room, and where you're living, in the monastery, in the Dharma centers, especially in the holy places, wherever holy places. Best offering flowers, fruits, vegetables, organics. Organic is very important, you know. You know, value of organic, non-organic. I learn more and more. When I was in Europe or other countries, the tomato, flower, tomato, fruits, same size, yeah, same size, same color. Smell so. Nepalese fruit looks quite bad. The organics are very, very tasty. Flower, it looks so little damage here, there, but smell very good. So organics is very important. We think, wow, monkeys are so jumpy, so funny. When I look monkey, when they attack fruit, not only take, yeah, they throw all, you know. So then what happened? Next time they not get fruit, you know. They eat little, then after they shake, throw. We're doing same. We're just hoping something fresh, something good now, future destroying. So need to be intelligent. Dharma is good for many reasons, many levels, not only one levels. Mundane levels, Dharma knowledge is very helpful. Whoever has Dharma knowledge is very smart and very kind. So please study more and practice more. Thank you. What? Maybe tomorrow I need some ting.
Page 23.
My monk says, Rinpoche, good to have it. 1 o'clock. No, I say hot and fresh. Sometimes I do like this. With love, but sometimes my love is a little strange. With love, I want you to hear what important words in my mind I want to share. But then, at the same time, I want to have good food, fresh, hot food. It's two together, not walking.
Namso de jozon zazon yawan jazo ye ganye chuje dembe nyim sanzon danden dende jede male yonson do barajenje lo. Back to page 19.
Chanchen menchen ne tenchen zawe lama yenche jen druwe molam kanta ba de da damche tendre drupara isho zanam te ye tamche sepa nye tamne nyebe danam pamche ne kega nanchen balam drupa ye sebe tsole druwa drupara isho chanchu samcho rambo maje panam chechuru chechevanyam Kondu bevare jo indi jele jajave tele ba karma bate tembe nyambo jo chodo
Tambara bebe tashi shon druben tachen jansen kule jodo do jojo de jele rinlo jode ganda jamba dambe genzen jebe tashi shon dumba jiden kaso chomba dan dumba nyu shindo so tenzen puno shindo dumba yore nebe tashi
Thank you. I'm very happy. 가르스나 저랑서 담배주 년술때 배 맞বে 산지가 송한 남시 산지게 샘셴도 마인라 째직도 년당에 셰버지오
I'm really pleased because you're listening to the Dharma in the way that the Buddha taught that the Dharma is to be listened to. That is to say, he said, when I teach the Dharma, listen one-pointedly and don't get distracted and think about other things. So this is how you are listening. It's very nice.
You know, bodhisattvas are very happy because of flower. Not only bodhisattvas are happy, we're happy. Looking to bodhisattva statues, yeah, it becomes sort of very unusual energy because of flower. If no flower, not much like this power. So flower is very, very, very powerful. Those who interest about flower, whoever knows flower, I like to talk about flower. How many flowers in the world? How many flowers? George? Can you come in? He is one of the experts. So, if any of you interest about flower, gardening, please discuss. Yeah. Can you say 1 2 words about flower? No.
Last year,
who you are, Pastor?
George Woodard. I'm on the board of directors of Dharma House, New York City. Last year, we had a meeting with people who are interested in flowers. There are 4 of us, and one of them phone rang, and it was Rinpoche, and he said, "Put me on speakerphone." And he said that Buddha was born in a garden, and Buddha taught in a garden, and Buddha died in a garden, and that he wanted gardens in his monastery, and he wanted them to be examples by which other monasteries could see how to do it.
We're talking how important to take care environment. So each of us, if we plant many flowers, many trees, many fruits, each of us, if we plant in our lifetime 10, 20,000 at least, those we're contributing. Just talk is no worth it, empty. Action. So flower is very, very important. So whoever interested about flower, we discuss, and maybe we drink flower tea. Sounds so romantic.